Hello, my name is Mike Taranto of ERP Consulting LLC, and today we're going to be covering the second part of using word templates, how to create your word templates. Let's begin. Well, to begin, the word templates rely exclusively on the Dynamics Report Writer, the tool that we've all become familiar with over the years in order to modify the standard reports that comes with GP. The word template will use the layout and the fields within those reports to generate the word templates. So to start, I thought we would go over here to just start with maybe like looking at a purchase order report. We go to purchase order entry and we click there. I'm just going to do a quick print here and we'll click on OK, and then the standard purchase order report will come out. That's not a bad looking report, but it does lack the word ability to have custom fonts and things like that you might find useful. Plus, when you want to use the email, built-in email functionality within GP, you can't use the standard reports. You need to use the Microsoft Word templates. So what I normally do when I'm working on templates is I'm going to use a modified one, not the standard original report. The reason being is that there may be other fields that I want to add in later and some other modifications that I might need to do, and I need to use the report writer version of it to do that. So I normally come in here, I click on modify so that it opens up the report writer, and it's going to create this then as a modified report. A little bit later, after we do the original, I'm going to show you how to add additional fields and how to use this as your base. So I'm just going to close out of here, and then I'm going to just take a look at my reports, and there is my modified purchase order blank form that I'm going to be using. So I'm going to go back now into GP, and after it gets open, everything with this report writer or the word templates is found under the reports pull down menu. And if you come down here, you'll see here's the template maintenance. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and then I'm going to go take a look at the reports. Now here's some ones that I was playing with earlier, but just I normally will start at more reports. And this is very similar to how you do security on modified reports. So you come in here and you'll select your series, and then in this case I want modified, and there's my purchase order blank form. So I'm going to go ahead and select it, and it puts it in this top section here, and you'll see that it was modified. And then here you'll see that there's no template names. We have to add those. So I'm going to go ahead and click on new here, and it's going to come up, and I usually always use the from existing template. You can create from blank, but that takes a lot of effort to get started. And I'll also just kind of mention that there is a conversion tool that you can take most reports within GP and create a Word template from them. It doesn't mean that they'll be able to use emails in that, but you can make some nice looking reports. So from existing, I'm just going to highlight this one here, and then down here I can give it a different name if I want. So in this case here, why don't we just put on here test, and I'm going to go ahead and create, and now we have that here. Now the reason that you can have several names here, and it's a really nice feature which extends GP's functionality, is that you can assign different layouts to different vendors, and the same for customers. So if one customer wants to see their invoice this way, another this, you can do that. And after we go through and modify, I'm going to show you then how you can do that. So I'm going to go ahead now and click on modify. And because I was highlighted on that, it's going to open up this template for me to work with. And so here is the Word template. Now in lesson 1, we talked about doing the add-in for Microsoft Word, and that's what this developer tab comes to, and that's where we click on this, and we'll have the fields necessary to modify this report. To add fields to this, you will need to click on this XML source, and that will then show you all the different areas of the report and how you can then put things on this report. One of the big things here that tested my patience and my ability to understand this is that everything has to be in a grid, otherwise it doesn't print. And with all of this here, like this one, what I'm clicking on right here, it's kind of hard to see, but that's a grid, and that's one big line. And then if you come down here, you'll see that there are several grids going across here. You have a grid, and it's put into what we call cells. So you have to have those created in order to add data to them. Some common things that you can do is if you're on this, if I right click, you'll see here that I can split cells. I can delete rows. So I'm going to make this into two cells. So click on that, and it comes up how many columns do you want. And so when you click on OK, now you'll see that there are two data areas here that you can put in data. Over here are the different report areas. And so if I click on report header, you'll see up here these are captions. These are actually words that you would normally find, text-based words, that were on that original report writer report. And so if you want something to go in there, you can actually just highlight it and then pull it up. So let's just say here I want to go to, well, they've got the report header, and I'd like it to have the page number. So I click up, and then I can drop it on a field, and now I have the page. Now you'll know that it's not just text, and that when you do that, you're going to have this field here, and it's highlighted. I will tell you that when I try to delete fields, if I try to come in here and delete just the word page, didn't work well for me. You have to go ahead and click on this header, and then when you hit the delete key, it removes the whole thing and the corresponding data. So you can pull these things in and put them in any areas that you'd like to. If you want to remove a split, again, you can highlight that, and you do a thing called merge cells. And merge cells then takes those and makes one big one out of it. So it does take a little work for you to get the cells in here that you want to hold your data. A lot of this here, when you come up, you can move them around, I can create additional or remove. Like say for instance, I don't really want the contract number on this. So I can click, delete that, come down here, delete that. Then let's say I wanted to put something else on here. So we have a lot of different fields, so I'm going to come down here, and here's the actual data fields where I can then put in the PO number. So I can come up here, drop that in here, and then up here I can come up to my captions, and here's PO number, and I can just drop that in here. And then you can do the other things that make Word nice, and that you can customize your fonts and everything just like you use with Word. I'm not going to get into that because I'm not a Word expert, but it allows you to do all this formatting for yourself. So as you've gone through here, maybe you've decided to take off some fields, add some fields, and that, then you're ready to save this template. Now this is the thing that always got me, is that if I did a file and if I did a save, what it does, and I'll do save as, you can see the what it's going to try to do is, see this path? I mean, it's way out there in the temp folder. Well, I'd save it, and then I couldn't ever find it because I didn't realize I was going to put it on the temp. So put it somewhere that's easy for you to get. And so I'm just going to go ahead and click Browse, and I'm going to put it on my desktop. And just leave it at this format, and click Save. And we'll go ahead and click there. And so now this template is ready for me to bring back into GP. I'm going to go ahead and click to exit out of here. And then what you do after you've made it, you click on this area here. Click on the form that you want to make a change to. Click the plus sign, and then browse out to find your file. And then it's going to give you this message. The template you're adding already exists in the database. Would you like to replace the existing template? And you click yes. And now you have created this template with your modifications, and now it's ready to be used. So before we can use it, we need to click on this assign and go to company. Now if you have a lot of different companies here, you can have a different purchase order for every single company, and you can have multiple formats within that company. So I'm going to go ahead and click this on the Fabricam and set as the default and save. And then you also have an assign to your vendors. And if you're using vendor classes, it makes this real nice and easy. But if you're not using classes, just highlight vendors, hit the plus sign, and then this gives you a selection criteria. And I'm just going to do vendor IDs. And this is where you can select one vendor or multiple vendors to be used with your template. So I'm just going to do all of them. So I'm going to come down here, go all the way down to the end, grab it, insert, and then click OK. And then it'll put them all in here. I just simply click mark all and save. So now I've assigned this template to the Fabricam company and all the vendors within it. So now I'm ready to use it. So I can go ahead and click out of here. I'm going to go down to purchasing, purchase order entry, grab a purchase order, and I'm going to click print, print. And now you'll see that when it defaults to screen, it's going to show template. You can always switch back to standard if you want to, but in this case we'll click template, click on OK. And there's your purchase order. And then when you go to print that, it's got all of the graphic capabilities here and looks just like what you have here on the screen. If there's no data involved, obviously it's not going to show anything here. But it's a nice little document and it's also emailable through your software. Now, on occasion, things you want additional fields that weren't put on the original report writer report. So to get those fields on your Word template, there's a couple steps you have to take. So we're going to first here go to Tools, Customize, and I'm going to go into the Report Writer and click on my report, purchase order, and then I'm going to open it. From here, I click on Layout, and then here's my report. Now, you'll have to make sure that you pay attention to these sections. Here's the page header, here's the report header, and that, because when you put these in, if you remember that source, the XML source, when we're looking at the Word template editor, it is very important that you put things here. So, if I'd like to have some more information in my header, I might want to come up here and grab the certain area. So if I go to purchase order work, maybe I'd like to have, I don't know, let's take a look at some fields here. And I'd like to add a phone number. So I can come here, drag it on the report, but what I usually do, if I don't want to change the report writer version, because some people may be using it, I'll put them off to the side here. They need to be in between this and this to be in the report header, but it allows you then to put additional fields in here that you may want just on your Word templates. So I'm just adding these two fields. Okay, and if I wanted to put some text, I could come up here, come over here, and we'll just say that this is a test text box so that we can remember that when we come back. So from here, I'm just going to go ahead and click exit and save and OK. And then now let's go back to GP. Now you have to do a couple things here that to get this into your Word templates and able to so that you can use it. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to print this purchase order form to an XML file with all the formatting that's included with it. So we get the purchase order. I'm going to click print, print, and now I'm going to change this, and this is important, is change that back to standard. And then I'm going to go down and give it a file name. And again, put it somewhere that's easy for you to find. And make sure you change the type to XML. And then it gives it a name of export 1. I could change that if I want to something else. I'm just going to use export 1 in this example. Click Save. And then with everything looking good here, I click on OK. It's now created the XML file that we're going to need in our Word. So to use that XML, to change it so you have those added fields, and if you should go back into Report Writer and add more fields, you're going to have to repeat this step. It's not something that just automatically fixes itself. So we'll go to Reports, Template Maintenance. We'll go ahead and grab our purchase order, and then we're going to modify. And you're going to want to go to the Developer tab, Field List. Okay, so now after doing the selecting the field list, we're going to have to come over here and grab the resource. This is the one that was already in there. And we're going to remove it. And that's what this remove source is about. So we click remove source, and it's just giving you a warning here. Just go ahead and click OK. And then we're going to add source. And we're at the desktop, and there's that one that we just did. So I'm going to highlight it, click open, and now the new version is on here. So we'll go take a look at the report header and see what we've got here. And now we have the test text box caption. And if we come down here, there's probably a phone number here somewhere. I usually go right by it. So there's the phone number field that we added. And so then that allows you to go and bring it onto the report and put it where you might want to tab. And once you do that, you go ahead and you do that save thing again and take it out to where you want it to be. In this case, it's trying to go back to that temp folder. And we'll put it in the desktop. And you can just save over this if you should want to, and click on OK. Now, if you don't need to do the report writer bit with the XML, you can always just close this up, and when you're ready to, you can go back and just go to your report. So if I came down here, I can just reopen this, make modifications, and then again do that plus thing with the template. But I can come in here again, Developer, GP, grab my fields, and I'm ready to start modifying the document again. Once I'm done and I save it, I can click out of here, go back, and again, highlight, hit the plus sign, and find your report. Time to time, you may see some errors here. Usually it's associated with you having maybe multiple versions, maybe of a long form or the other form, and trying to bring it into this one. So just make sure that the file, the document that you have out there is the same one as the report template. Click yes, and now this is ready to be used. I do appreciate you watching our training video, and if you should have any questions, feel free to get a hold of us with the information that's on the slide. Again, thank you, and have a wonderful day.